Welcome back into the Killer Potential series. Springtrap is one of the most iconic animatronics in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Today we're going to talk about why he should be a killer in DBD. We have 26 killers in Dead by Daylight. Some have the ability to teleport like Demogorgon, others even have a jump scare like the Hag. How would Springtrap play in DBD? Would he be stealth based like Ghostface or Michael Myers? Would he have a jump scare attack like Pig? Or would he have some sort of increased movement speed frenzy ability like Legion? There's so many directions this power could be taken because of how complex the character is. Now there are a lot of criticisms on why Springtrap wouldn't make sense in DBD. We'll address these arguments, and from there we'll talk about the potential that Springtrap has if he were to set foot in the entity's realm. Quick reminder, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I also do stream on Twitch, the link is in the description below. Now a lot of people don't think that Springtrap would fit into Dead by Daylight because there's a lot of criticism that FNaF is a video game for kids. Some people feel unsure if Behaviour or Matthew Cote would go for a license like this.
And we try very hard not to do silly, because silly sort of goes against horror. It's not a hard, fast rule, but we tried to stray away from that.
The story takes place in a pizzeria and animatronics perform to celebrate birthday parties. The similarities between the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria and Chuck E. Cheese are undeniable. And obviously Chuck E. Cheese is for kids. However, the backstory of FNaF goes into extremely dark areas like murdering children, which is not a story for kids. Yet somehow FNaF is recommended for kids 12 and up. The lore of FNaF is kind of a special case. It's an adult story that's expressed in a way that is suitable for kids to see. Polls have shown that the average age of the FNaF player base is 12 to 17. When Dowsy did a poll for his DBD YouTube channel, he found the majority of DBD players are 13 to 18. So what's the argument? That DBD and FNaF are too different in age range? I think that the conclusion from this data should be that just because a large percentage of the fanbase for DBD and FNaF are kids, doesn't mean it can't be enjoyed by adults. If anything, the data is showing that the age ranges line up perfectly. I think that FNaF being a game just for kids is a misconception on Twitter. The average age of Twitter users is 25 to 34. This is across all of Twitter. The average age of DBD and FNaF Twitter users might be lower. But nonetheless, DBD fans who are adults arguing with FNaF fans who are adults are not realizing that based on the data, both games have kids in the player base and can still be enjoyed by adults. In fact, this is true for most video games. The first FNaF was released 8 years ago in 2014. At that time, the average FNaF player was 12 years old. So all those kids are now 20 years old. A FNaF chapter in DBD would be special because we'd combine a gruesome backstory with DBD's game of cat and mouse. Most importantly, there would be nostalgia for old FNaF players who are now adults and incentive for them to come try Dead by Daylight. The lore of FNaF is darker than most of the DBD licenses to date, and I think that this is where a giant piece of misunderstanding is. People who think FNaF is a game that can only be enjoyed by kids might not entirely understand the lore of FNaF and the potential for Springtrap in DBD. In order to understand what kind of power Springtrap could bring, we must first understand his backstory. You see, the mystery of Springtrap's lore is a product of a dark backstory that has been pieced together through a series of vague minigames. The story begins in Fredbear's Family Diner. This was the first establishment opened by Henry Emily and his business partner William Afton sometime before 1983. According to the phone guy in FNaF 2, the restaurant was presumably a local family restaurant before it was closed under mysterious circumstances. This was the first location in which the mysterious purple guy murders his first victim. We witnessed this murder in the Take Cake minigames in FNaF 2. A lot of theories out there believe that this is the first restaurant, Fredbear's Family Diner, since the minigame takes place in a small enclosed area, and the only animatronic we see is Freddy. In this cutscene, we witness the purple guy murder a child in front of the diner. The purple guy is later revealed to be none other than William Afton. Using hidden newspaper clippings and minigames, it is heavily implied that several children were killed at one of the restaurants, and had their bodies hidden inside of animatronics backstage. In FNaF 2, we see Foxy running past a smiling purple guy and walk into a room with 5 lifeless children. In one of the FNaF 2 minigames, the puppet gives life to 4 small figures that resemble dead children. From the newspaper articles, we know that William Afton jumped into the Spring Bonnie suit and lured these children into the back and killed them. In this cutscene, we see the puppet bringing the children back to life by giving them animatronic suits. In the FNaF 3 minigames, we see the purple guy taking apart the animatronic suits one at a time. In doing so, he's freeing the spirits of the children inside the suits. The spirits confront the purple guy and scare him into jumping into the Spring Bonnie suit. Since it's raining and water is leaking into the room, the suit spring locks on William, crushing him. Now, there are a lot of different theories on exactly how this went down. Some theories say that William died that day, and his soul lives in the Spring Bonnie suit. However, in the minigame, if you look closely, it never shows William dying, so it seems likely that William is still alive in the suit. His zombified corpse, now tangled up in the mechanics of an animatronic rabbit, lives to haunt the player as an animatronic named Springtrap. The reason Springtrap is so iconic in the Five Nights at Freddy's series is because he's the murderer of the series. All the others in the FNaF franchise are either humans or possessed robots, but Springtrap is a zombie serial killer. A lot of FNaF players like Springtrap because of his design, lore, and face. The idea of man and machine combo is not unique, but the way how this abomination was created and what he ended up looking like is pretty intimidating. The rusted old suit, that evil smile, and then you look harder and notice the remains. Muscles, blood vessels around the metallic parts of the suit, and of course the skull with wide open eyes and a few teeth remaining. William Afton's endoskeleton is visible inside of the Springtrap suit. Springtrap, as well as other animatronics in FNaF, excel in their ability to move around the map without being detected. Oftentimes the security guard is jump scared by Springtrap peeking around corners, or simply Springtrap standing there menacingly watching them. If Springtrap was brought into DBD, his power could be capitalizing on his stealth ability. He, like the Spirit, could be considered a ranged killer. Therefore, his base movement speed would be 110% movement speed and his terror radius would be 24 meters. Springtrap can stalk survivors, and as he's doing so, he's undetectable, and gains charge for his special ability Jump Scare. Once fully charged, Springtrap can activate his special attack instantly. His red light comes back on and his chase music starts for survivors within his terror radius. Springtrap screams and survivors within his terror radius are jump scared by hallucination. And Springtrap is able to move at 130% movement speed for the duration of his ability. He would excel in chases and hunting down his prey just as he does in FNaF 3. He also has a special enemy. Springtrap spawns with 2 AI helpers roaming the map, similar to what we see in FNaF Security Breach. The 2 bots spawn randomly as one of the 4 animatronics from Security Breach. But through the in-game store, players can purchase the original Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, or Freddy. The entity is possessed and brainwashed these animatronics into thinking that the survivors are in league with William Afton. Bringing in a variety of characters from the FNaF franchise would allow people who play as Springtrap to have a more customizable DBD experience. Speaking of skins, Springtrap could also have skins of different versions of Springtrap, from Sister Location, Security Breach, and why not even have a blighted skin that looks similar to the flaming Springtrap from Special Delivery. So Springtrap would have a jump scare ability and excel in chases, as well as passive gen pressure through the FNaF animatronics. It combines a lot of the powers that we see with Michael Myers, Pig, Legion, Doctor, and Nemesis. His Mori would be simple and terrifying. Springtrap grabs the survivor by the neck and channels a soul resurrection energy with his fist. He throws a spring Bonnie suit on the survivor and hits them to the ground. The suit spring locks on the survivor and their soul is taken by the entity. Behaviour could also bring in Springtrap voice lines. There's a variety of different ones throughout the FNaF games that would be really cool to see in DBD.
I can taste the fear in your breath. Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart and put back together again. It is time. You will not be spared. You will not be saved. I am here to claim what is left of you. I will make you suffer. Suffer like so many of the others. You will fear me. And now you are mine. Got you.
In FNaF, the game's setting varies from game to game, but the premise between them remains the same. You, looking through the eyes of the game's protagonist, must stay alive for 5 or 6 days, against an onslaught of animatronics who want your blood. Most of the games revolve around a restaurant or some other variation of a satanic Chuck E. Cheese style venue. The new map that would make the most sense would be the Megaplex from Security Breach. There's a main room in the Pizzaplex that looks similar to the Raccoon City Police Department. This map offers a lot of areas for loops, pallets, and generators. This way, a FNaF chapter in DBD would offer a nice preview of the FNaF franchise. We have Springtrap from FNaF 3, animatronics from FNaF 1, and the Megaplex from Security Breach. Most people are thinking that Springtrap would come to DBD as a paragraph, meaning no survivor. If a survivor were to come into the game, I'd imagine it'd be the main antagonist of the FNaF series, Michael Afton, a physically and emotionally tormented young man trying to undo the grievous sins committed by his father in the pizza parlors he owned. Adding FNaF to DBD would bring new demographics of players, similar to what we saw in the Resident Evil chapter. We'll definitely post videos if there's any Springtrap news or DBD speculations that come out. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other killers you'd like me to talk about. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.